Many thanks, Mustafa Ali, for another rendition of the Holy Quran, and of course, sublimely delivered as always. This part of the program, we are once again taking a bit of a deep dive into the ziyaras and the du'as and the supplications basically that are associated with the months of Muharram and Safar, specifically the events of Ashura and Arba'een. And as always, we're joined by our guest Ibrahim Al-Ansari. Assalamu alaikum.
Alaikum assalam wa rahmatullah.
How are you?
Alhamdulillah, how about yourselves?
Good, thank you.
Good. So we've covered a lot in terms of our discussions, our daily discussions when it comes to the ziyaras, and today we're focusing on Zeyarat Warth, as mentioned. So what we'll do is we'll take a bit of a deep dive into the ziyara itself, the words, the authenticity of it, the history behind it. Zahra, if you wanted to add anything.
No, that sounds good.
Yeah. So tell us a bit about the actual ziyara itself.
So Zeyarat Warth is, of course, another ziyarah directed at Imam Hussein, in which you visit Imam Hussein. This one is narrated, however, by Imam Sadiq, alayhi salatu wasalam. And we talked about Zeyarat Ashura before, and we said how Zeyarat Ashura is narrated by Imam Zain al-Abidin. However, the authenticity, the sanad of this ziyarah is much stronger.
Zeyarat Warth.
Zeyarat Warth.
Yeah. Just for the benefit of the viewers who may not understand certain Arabic terminologies, sanad, what does that actually mean?
Okay, so of course sanad, for this to be explained by a scholar is much better than to be explained by myself. Right. But just generally speaking, we help each other discuss, inshallah. Yeah. Usually sanad, when you look at a specific narration, and of course, these ziyaras and these du'as are all narrations. Like, for example, we have du'a Kumail. It is literally Kumail ibn Ziyad narrating, I heard Amir al-Mu'mineen Ali ibn Abi Talib alayhi salatu wasalam say this.
Right.
Du'a Abi Hamza al-Thamali. It is Abi Hamza al-Thamali saying, I heard Imam Zain al-Abidin reciting this.
We also have an example with Hadith Kisab, for example,
yes,
where Jabir ibn Abdullah Ansari says, I heard from
Fatima Zahra.
Yeah.
Yes, perfect. That's an amazing example actually to use, and it's probably the most clear, because in the actual hadith al-Kisa, you recite the full thing. So you say that Jabir came in and he asked. And,
So it's a full-on hadith. Although we use it as like a dua, as a supplication used in our majalis as a supplication, because the words, there are supplications that Fatima Zahra and Rasulullah would actually say, but in essence, in technicality, it's a hadith, because Jabir ibn Abdullah.
Not just that as a hadith, this is a hadith too.
Right.
These narrations are hadiths too. It's just that we leave out that specific first part of this person came into to the mosque, for example, or to the house of Imam al-Sadiq, or to the house of Imam al-Ridha, and he heard the Imam say this and say that. We leave that part out.
Right.
If you were to read it, for example, Fatih al-Jinan, etc., we usually mention. But generally speaking, this is a hadith too. Hadith from the Imams. We have Ziyarat al-Nahya as an example. Ziyarat al-Nahya, you have one of the four companions of Imam Mahdi, alayhi salatu wassalam. They narrate it. I can't remember which one specifically, but they narrate that I heard Imam Mahdi say this. But we leave out the start of he came in and he met with the Imam and the Imam said this. We leave that part out.
So Zeyarat Warth, in terms of the sanad, is the strongest that we have.
The strongest that we have. So that is a narration. The narration then goes into how we know which one is stronger. Depends on who narrates it. Depends on the chain of narrators. And that usually goes back to Ilm al-Rijal. Right. And Ilm al-Rijal is something deep to go into as well, but usually it talks about their upbringing in terms of environment. It talks about, it looks at how truthful they are in terms of when
these are the people narrating the actual hadith.
Yes,
so
the chain.
You're looking at the biography of the chain of narrators.
Yes, because for example, if someone is known to lie a lot, you're not going to really accept of what they say all the time, or you're going to find what they say weaker.
Yes.
As opposed to someone who's always truthful.
So, and that's why you get certain hadiths which are weak, some hadiths are strong, because within the chain of narrators, you'll get one person who's narrated the story, but perhaps he or she, isn't as trustworthy as the others.
Exactly, that's exactly what it is. So in terms of Zeyarat Warth, is the strongest. In terms of the chain of narrators, until it reaches, of course, us, in terms of that, it is the strongest.
Right.
So this ziyarah, when is it, what the benefits, and when is the best time to recite this?
Zeyarat Warth, in fact, I think me and Mullah Ali were sitting down and we were talking about when visiting Imam Hussein.
Yeah.
I realized that the wedding is very specific.
Yeah.
Very similar in terms of the ziyarah. So Zeyarat Warth is actually used even when you go to visit Imam Hussein. Zeyarat Warth is used whenever you want to turn around to Abu Abdullah Hussein. Usually people tend to recite it on the night of a Friday.
Yes.
So on the night of a Friday.
Thursday evening.
Yeah,
so the night before.
Yeah,
the night before Friday.
The night before Friday,
Yeah.
So people tend to turn around to Imam Hussein, and the beauty about this ziyarah is not only that it has so many different meanings and so many amazing things about it, and you directly talk to the Imam, but also it's very short. So the shortness of it makes it easy to be constantly recited every single week. And so that is usually the most recommended time.
Right.
But of course, the ziyarah of Imam Hussein, I feel like doing ziyarah right now, I cannot go to Iraq right now, to Karbala. I sit down right now, I turn around to Imam Hussein and I say, Salamu alayka ya Warth Adam Safwatillah till the end. There's no harm in that.
I'm sure.
Likewise with any other dua and any ziyarah, there is no harm in reciting them daily. You see, for example, dua kumail. And I know I keep going back to that, but it's just so common amongst us. Dua kumail. Recite it once a month. If you cannot do that, recite it once a year. If you cannot do that, then recite it once a lifetime. It's just that if you are not able to, then maybe a very good recommendation is to recite it Thursday nights.
Because people who have been to Karbala and they do the ziyarah, I guess I want to touch upon the actual journey of the ziyarah itself, because we know that when you perform the ziyarah, there's actual physical footsteps that you need to follow in order to complete the ziyarah. That's for Ziyarat Imam Hussein alayhi salam, when you're in and around the vicinity. However, when someone recites Ziyarat Warth, they find there's a lot of commonalities. So what's the difference between Ziyarat Warth and Ziyarat Imam Hussein alayhi salam?
Ziyarat Warth and Ziyarat Imam Hussein is very simple. Ziyarat Imam al-Hussein, it is Ziyarat Warth. In addition to it, it talks about these steps that you're talking about. So you stand by the door and recite this. Then go towards the dharih and recite this. And of course, I think we have an episode specified for Ziyarat Imam Hussein. So we'll leave that till then, inshallah. But that's the main difference. As for Ziyarat Warth, no, the core of the ziyarah, and then at the end of the salam that you send to the Imam. And of course, it is mustahab to do 2 rak'at after that, just like it is mustahab after every ziyarah as well.
Okay. And in terms of like actual meaning of Ziyarat Warth, I know it as inheritor, right?
Yeah.
So that's the meaning behind Ziyarat Warth?
Yes, it is. And that is one of the beauties, because it talks about the Imam Hussein alayhi wasalam, and how he is the inheritor of the prophets.
Right.
Starts, Assalamu alayka ya Warith Adam Safwatillah. Assalamu alayka ya Warith Nuh Nabiyillah. Assalamu alayka ya Warith Ibrahim Khalilillah. Assalamu alayka. And it mentions all of these important prophets. And it says that Imam Hussein alayhi wasalam is the inheritor.
I see.
Of these prophets. Not only them, Nabi Allah Muhammad,
of course,
sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. Assalamu alaykum ya Warith, of course, Imam Ali as well.
Yeah.
So this specific thing about Imam Hussein alayhi salatu wasalam is showing his true status. And not only that, there's a specific part in Ziyarat Warth, which in fact when I was choosing the extract from Ziyarat Warth, I thought was very easy, just because I know a lot of people don't actually turn around and look at this specific wording, which is what I brought with me as well. And it talks about a specific status of Imam Hussein alayhi salatu wasalam, even after being the inheritor of this holy, literally this holy lineage. It talks even more about his holiness and his cleanliness in terms of his mother's womb, in terms of that. And inshallah, whenever we get a chance to recite it, inshallah, I'll go through that in further detail.
Shall we do that now? I
don't
mind.
Let's go through the
So, of course, the ziyarah has something before that, but carrying on from the middle of ziyarah. أشهد أنك قد أقمت الصلاة وآتيت الزكاة وأمرت بالمعروف ونهيت عن المنكر وأطعت الله ورسوله حتى أتاك اليقين فلعن الله أمة قتلتك ولعن الله أمة ظلمتك ولعن الله أمة سمعت بذلك فرضيت به. يا مولاي يا أبا عبد الله أشهد أنك كنت نورا في الأصلاب الشامخة والأرحام المطهرة، لم تنجسك الجاهلية بأنجاسها ولم تلبسك من مدلهمات ثيابها. وأشهد أنك من دعائم الدين وأركان المؤمنين، وأشهد أنك الإمام البر التقي الرضي الزكي الهادي المهدي، وأشهد أن الأئمة من ولدك كلمة التقوى وأعلام الهدى والعروة الوثقى والحجة على أهل الدنيا. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ala Muhammad. Of course, it carries on. The ziyarah is longer than that, but the reason I chose this specific extract is because at the start it talks about witnessing that Imam Hussein alayhi wasallam, he established prayers and he gave zakat. So he actually stood and he actually did his religion according to what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wanted it to be. Right. And of course, ashhadu, meaning I witness. And this is Imam Sadiq saying it. Right. I witness that you have done this. Imam Sadiq saying, I witness that you have done religion according to how it should be done. Amarta bil ma'ruf wa nahayta 'anil munkar. You enjoyed good and you forbade from evil. Wa ata'ta Allah wa rasulahu hatta ataka al-yaqeen. And you obeyed Allah and His Prophet until certainty came upon you. And that is very important. And then this is the part that I told you many people don't actually realize, which is where Imam al-Sadiq is witnessing. He says, I bear witness that verily you were a light in the sublime loins and purified wombs. The impurities of ignorance did not even touch you, nor could its soiled and dirty bearing ever smear you. That is relating to the womb of Fatima Zahra and of Khadija. So even in the ziyarah of Imam Hussein, we are turning back to his purity, and this lineage, this pure lineage that he has, increases in his status. Fatima Zahra alayha afdalus salatu wassalam, she was never in the wombs of any of the women. It was Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam when he went into Isra and Mi'raj, and he was given a fruit. From that fruit came Fatima Zahra into the Prophet, and of course then into the womb of Lady Khadija salamullahi alayha. And what a pure womb she had. What a pure womb she had, that Fatima Zahra was actually brought into that womb. And the thing is, it also refers back to that Khadija alayha afdal salatu wassalam is a purified woman herself. Right. And Imam Hussein came from this lineage. And you see this being echoed in the Majlis of Yazid. Right. When Imam Zainul Abidin, they ask, who is this person? And then he starts his amazing speech. Etc. And then he describes the Prophet, and then he says, that is my grandfather. He describes Amir al-Mu'mineen, he says, that is my grandfather. He describes Imam Hussein, he says, that is my father. And then what does he say? He says, أنا ابن نقيات الجيوب أنا ابن عديمات العيوب أنا ابن خديجة الكبرى أنا ابن فاطمة الزهراء. Right. Imam Zainul Abidin, infallible Imam, when he is asked, who are you? He is proud to say Khadija and Fatima Zahra are my mothers. SubhanAllah.
It's amazing.
Amazing.
I think we've come towards the end of the...
Once again.
Yes, it just goes... I'm sure I speak for Ali as well, that just can continue to hearing you, listening to what you're saying. And it's a beautiful point you made, that the womb is so purified, and Lady Khadija's status, you know, again, it's just on another level, isn't it? And definitely. And may Allah grant us their ziyarah where they lay to rest, inshallah. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
And we hope you have a blessed day.
Inshallah, likewise to the both of you.
Thank you so much.
A blessed morning, inshallah.
Inshallah.
Rahim, thank you so much for your time. Just moving on slightly to the next segment. After this, we will be taking a bit of a deep dive into the emotional aspect of Muharram and Ashura and Arba'een as well, looking into verses of love with poets and reciters. However, we have quite an interesting extract from a view into the land of Karbala during the third day after Ashura. So take a look.